nothing. It's like being dead. No sight, no sound, no touch, no feel, no smell, no nothing. It's like being dead.
Could you explain to me what we've been doing for the past 15 minutes?
Well, I don't know, do I? I've been unconscious since I've been ill.
Okay, Clive? Are you with us now?
Well, yes, marvellous, lovely, lovely. All senses are back on track.
Can you describe for me, Clive, how you're feeling?
Well, day and night, no dreams, no thoughts, no nothing. It's like being dead. No sight, no sound, no touch, no feel, no smell, no nothing. It's like being dead.
Could you explain to me what we've been doing for the past 15 minutes?
Well, I don't know, do I? I've been unconscious since I've been ill.
Okay, Clive? Are you with us now?
Well, yes, marvellous, lovely, lovely. All senses are back on track.
Can you describe for me, Clive, how you're feeling?
Well, day and night, no dreams, no thoughts, no feel, no nothing. It's like being dead. No sight, no sound, no touch, no feel, no smell, no nothing. It's like being dead.
Could you explain to me what we've been doing for the past 15 minutes?
Well, I don't know, do I? I've been unconscious since I've been ill.
Okay, Clive? Are you with us now?
Well, yes, marvellous, lovely, lovely. All senses are back on track.
Can you describe for me, Clive, how you're feeling?
Well, I don't know, do I? No sight, no sound, no touch, no feel, no smell, no nothing. It's like being dead.
Could you explain to me what we've been doing for the past 15 minutes?
Well, I don't know, do I? I've been unconscious since I've been ill.
Okay, Clive? Are you with us now?
Well, yes, marvellous, lovely, lovely. All senses are back on track.
Can you describe for me, Clive, how you're feeling?
Well, day and night, no dreams, no thoughts, no feel, no nothing. It's like being dead. No sight, no sound, no touch, no feel, no smell, nothing. It's like being dead.
Could you explain to me what we've been doing for the past 15 minutes?
Well, I don't know, do I? I've been unconscious since I've been ill.
Okay, Clive?
Unbelievable condition. He can only remember between 7 and 30 seconds of, well, anything. Well, not quite like a goldfish, a little bit more compelling than that. But we must simply make a film about him. He was a wonderfully talented radio researcher and composer for the BBC, composed all the music for the royal wedding, and then he contracts this disease called herpes viral encephalitis, and well, his memory is completely gone. Right, well, I'll give you a call tomorrow. Some time to mull it over. But Roger, we really can't afford to let this one go.
Edmund, please turn that bloody jarring take-a-coffee down.
All right, Dad, we're not in the Orlando Dobson Spangler here, you know.
Oh, really? Well, that's the potion note and the breadcrumbs done. Lovely.
Dad, you know this trail? How do you know she's not just going to think these are some notes to yourself about the books you want to read?
Don't worry about that. I've been reducing the amount of notes I've made recently to give her the impression I've given up completely. This will give her a real shock upon arrival. Now, Alison, is the cake ready?
Yes, it's in the kitchen. Would you like me
No.
to...
That's approximately 8 or 10 seconds here and back. I'll give you a signal to grab it with ease, yes?
And so you left a message for her at work? Or won't it be obvious?
Don't worry about that. I've given her choir practice off, but also I've left a message for the supervisor that'll make her rush home at the speed of light.
Are you sure this isn't going to go south? Like your anniversary? Remember that one?
Shh! Everyone be quiet! Oh, for God's sake.
Clive? Clive, darling, I got your messages at work. Clive, sweetheart, is everything okay? Clive? 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 Clive, are you here? Clive, you left me many messages at work. Closer. Closer to what, I wonder? Keep going. Clive, this is all very strange. Nearly there. Nearly where, I wonder? Clive! Clive, this is all very sweet.
Surprise! Surprise!
My God, this really is a surprise.
Surprise! Happy birthday, darling!
Surprise! You outlived the dinosaurs! I got you a present. I hope it's your colour. The receipt's inside, but don't worry, because it wasn't very expensive.
Edmund, you can't say that. It ruins the surprise.
Oh, thanks, Ed. Can't wait to wear it out.
Right! Who wants some cake? And don't forget to make a wish, yes? Are we ready?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Deborah. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you, darling. It's been the most wonderful day.
Oh, anything for my darling Deborah. A wonderful way to spend one of my last nights just at home.
What? What do you mean?
Well, the royal wedding. Charles and Diana. BBC Radio 3, they want me to organise and compose all their music.
Darling, that's fantastic. I'm so proud of you.
It's only up from here.
We met through music. I worked at John Lewis in London and had to join the choir. Our conductor was Clive. My first impressions of him were that he had intelligent eyes. He had a rich, laughing voice and talked with his hands. He could have been a new wave actor with his white polo neck. His entry into the room had a strange effect, as if his arrival had suddenly set something into motion out of limping black ordinary life. The choir was suddenly alert and music was about to begin. I remember he then said, "We'll take it from the top, see how far we get." We were singing Britain's Ceremony of Carols. He would always make sure that he had everyone's attention before he began. He would do it by scanning each and every one of our faces with his piercing lake blue eyes, and then he would begin. I knew that he was in control and that he would command our attention. He seemed to expand as if he had all the music inside of him waiting to burst forth.
Right, we'll take it from the top. See how far we get? And don't forget to keep a pencil handy. Ooh, and don't forget, enunciate! Let me hear those words. Explode your consonants. Remember, we're singing about pain, about tears. Let me hear your emotion. We're on a bar 64. And don't forget the dynamics. And keep sharp of that crescendo. Now, may I remind you, the big night is only a matter of weeks away, and we have a lot of work to be done. The BBC does not just hire me for my charm. Right, ready?
Darling.
It's so hot.
Deborah. Yes, doctor, but his temperature.
My darling, your temperature.
Oh,
it's so hot.
Darling. Deborah. Yes, doctor, but his temperature. It's 40. Yes, doctor, but
My darling, your temperature. It's getting worse.
Darling. Deborah. Yes, doctor, but his temperature. It's 40. Yes, doctor, but his temperature. Doctor, temperature is so hot. Deborah. Oh, Clive, darling. Deborah. Yes, doctor, but his temperature is 40. Deborah. Yes, doctor, but his temperature is 40.
Taxi?
He really is extraordinary. Imagine waking up and experiencing things over and over and over again. Yes, he really is rather wonderful. Yes, he's still around. His wife, Deborah, has said we can send over a film crew. The Hook. Well, I suppose it's love. Remember I said he can't remember anything more than 30 seconds? Can't recognize anyone? Well, he can remember his wife, Deborah. Every time he sees her, he hugs her as if he won't let go. So the Hook, sir, it's love. Right, sir. So I do have your approval. Oh, that's super, sir. Thank you.
The 11th of May, 1938.
Any allergies or pre-existing conditions?
No, not that I can think of.
So, how long has it been since it first died?
Well, it's been about a week since he first got a headache, and then a couple of days later he developed a temperature. And since then, both the temperatures and headaches have both progressively got worse. I thought it best to bring him here after last night. He seemed to have absolutely no memory of anything, not even where we lived.
Needs he recently taken a bump to the head or any other kind of knock?
No.
Has he ever suffered from memory loss before?
Not until the past couple of days. I had to pick him up from a police station 2 days ago. He hailed a cab and completely forgot where he was going. Times under his arm, hat on, ready for work it seems, and just couldn't tell the cabbie where to go. What do you think is wrong with him? Because he's clearly not right. He couldn't remember where we lived.
I think that it is most likely just a nasty flu that seems to be going round at the moment. We might do a simply precautionary scan just because of the headaches and the memory loss.
But what if it's something worse?
Well, at the moment, there's not a huge case for worry. As I said, it's probably just the flu.
But what if it's something to do
Well, it's
with...
very unlikely, Mrs. Waring. At the moment, all we can do is observe.
How long till we see a doctor?
Well, it shouldn't be much longer now. I'll be back in 5 minutes.
Thank you.
He's in a home now. They have to look after him all the time. I try and visit him as much as possible. I never want him to think he's alone facing this. He says it's like being dead. He's trapped in his own mind, stuck in the cycle. I try as hard as I can to make it all easier for him, but I just don't know if I'm helping. Of course, he can never even remember me going there. He has always recognized me. Apart from his music, I am the one constant thing in his life. He is always happy to see me, and every single time he sees me, he hugs me, like he won't let go, like his life depends on
Dad,
it.
you ready to play chess?
No,
It's then
sorry.
that the repetition stops for him, and he lives in that moment of seeing
Your
me.
paper, Dad?
No, of
He
course
was
not.
always
I'm doing
a
something.
loving husband and is an incredible father to our
Clive?
children. To others, he is the man with the 7-second memory.
Clive.
Paper, Dad?
No, of
Are
course
you ready
not.
to play
No,
chess?
sorry,
Why?
no.
Paper, Dad?
No, of
Are you
course
ready to
not.
play
Sorry,
chess?
no.
Paper, Dad?
No,
Are you ready
please,
to play
no,
chess?
no, I don't want to.
Clive, don't you remember?
No, of course I don't remember. Please, just, I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to be pressured. Just use your bloody intelligence, woman! No, I can't remember. Just pieces. Everything put together. I'm sorry. No, I can. I promise. I do remember. Everything is completely back on track. And I remember you and everything. And I'm so sorry for any time it seems that I can't remember because I do. And I'm here. Every time I look at you, I know who I am. But truly, now, believe me, I am here. I do remember because all my senses are most definitely back on track. And now, for the first time, I am truly awake.
Clive?
Dad,
Don't you remember?
Where's your diary, Mr. Waring?
No idea. I've never seen it. It says 7:16 a.m. first act. Well, I don't remember that at all. What was on there today? First diary entry I've made consciously.
First diary entry I've made.
Clive keeps a diary every day and has done for 20 years in an effort to make sense of his life. He writes multiple entries recording his last conscious moment.
He would look at his watch to see what time was this momentous event occurring of first consciousness. And so he would write down 10:06 awake first time. And then have the same sensation and put 10:07 awake first time, truly awake first time. Ignore the last entry. Now I'm awake. This is the first real awakeness. And so the diaries are line by line a succession of astonished awakenings.
Hello, Deborah. Hi, Jen. Hello, Clive.
Thank you. Clive.
Hello, I'm Clive.
Hello, Clive. I'm Jennifer, your therapist. Right. So last time we were talking about music and what it means to you.
Oh, wonderful.
And this time we're going to work on jogging other parts of your memory by doing simple exercises.
Well, really, it's going to be nothing. I mean, I've never seen anything or heard anything
Oh, well, I
before.
know it's hard, Clive, but the aims of these sessions are to access other parts of your memory so that you don't feel so lost.
Really, it's going to be absolutely nothing. I mean, you're the first human beings I've seen since I've been...
Darling, just try it. It'll be fine.
Right. So now I'm going to show you some photos of normal, everyday objects, and your job is to simply name them for me, all right?
Clive.
Sorry, what are we doing?
Well, I'm going to show you some pictures of normal, everyday objects, and your job is to simply name them for me, all right?
Yes, of course. Perfect, sorry.
Okay, let's start.
Chicken. Chicken.
Clive.
Well, I think it's best we not interrupt. Clive, what about this one?
Chicken.
Why is it he's doing that? He knows what it is. He knows it's not chicken.
Well, you see, it is very common in amnesia patients for them to know what they're observing, but only be able to use one word to describe it. And well, the word for Clive seems to be chicken. Deborah, did you remember the photo albums?
Oh, yes.
Oh, wonderful. Right. So now Deborah's going to show you some pictures of your past.
Oh, wonderful.
And some of them are with her.
Oh, lovely.
And I want you to simply tell me if you can remember the occasion, all right?
Right. Well, no, that can't be me. No, I don't understand. No, I've never seen these people before in my life. No.
Clive, darling, calm down. It's fine. Look, here's one you must remember. It's us, together, on our wedding day. The day we got married.
Sorry. I can't remember.
It's fine, darling.
Right. Shall we?
No.
Okay. Well, I think that's enough for today.
Come on, Clive. Let's go home.
Oh, home. Wonderful.
So I'll be seeing you again this time next week.
Yes, thank you, Jennifer.
Goodbye, Clive.
Goodbye. Who is she? She seems to love it.
Is that the mic?
Yes. Funny old thing, isn't it? Right. Is this your first interview, Alison?
Well, I've spoken about him before, but well, not in front of a camera.
You just need to stay nice and calm, okay? You ready?
Yeah.
So, let's start with your stepmother. How did you feel when Deborah left?
Well, to be honest, I was jealous that she got away from everything. I hadn't realized how hard it had been for her. I mean, she made it look so easy. I knew that due to her absence that I had to step in and take her place for Dad. And I hadn't put much thought to it, but, well, it was really tough.
Did Clive realize then that she'd gone?
Well, yes, I told him. I told him many times that she'd gone to New York, but, well, of course, there was no point in telling him because, well, he couldn't remember. Every time I visited, I'd be greeted with, "Where's Deborah? Is she coming too?" All he wanted to do was talk about her and see her. He really missed her.
How long had they been together?
Well, 18 months. He and my mum split up when we were younger, and he was alone for a while, and well, then he met Deborah, and they moved in together until it all went downhill.
Can you remember the first time you visited him then?
Well, yes. That was the hardest thing I have ever had to do. After all, I was convinced that I'd come to see my dad. My dad die. I used to have dreams of him walking me down the aisle and him coming over in years to come to play with my children. His grandchildren. But, well, I guess that's not our reality.
As far as I'm concerned, I haven't had any contact with or heard any music ever.
Yet you're still a very good conductor and a very good player.
Well, that's the first I've heard of it.
Yet you still sing with a beautiful voice. Do you think if you just sat at the old
I absolutely dread to think, but I really do. I just don't know, do I?
Well, I do.
I haven't heard a note of music.
Yes,
Not
well,
a note.
So, Deborah, can you tell me how you feel about Clive's illness?
The focus normally seems to be on Clive. It is difficult, I guess. Clive went from this wonderful, brilliant, talented, cultured man to someone who makes the same tired pun over and over. It was a shock. A sudden change in personality was just so difficult to deal with. At times I thought I couldn't cope. That's why I had to go to America. But I couldn't forget Clive before the illness. His wonderful mind. It was difficult for the whole family too. Clive went from this family man to someone who lives life almost feeling dead. I don't know how Alison and Edmund could cope with losing their father, but they were both very strong about it.
And how is it when you visit Clive now?
Sometimes it's more difficult after the visits. The voicemails he leaves me are very painful to listen to. You see, after every single one of my visits, Clive leaves me multiple voicemails asking when I'm going to come and see him. As if I never arrived. I've come to terms with losing him, time and time again. I tell myself he never goes away.
So he treats you differently to other people?
I do sometimes feel blessed he remembers me above all others. When he sees me, he treats me like it's the first time in months. Of course, that is tedious, but I've learned to appreciate it. It's a small glimpse of the man who I love and who loves me every 30 seconds. He is still witty and can keep up a conversation, a short conversation with ease. Some say he's the same when I'm in the room, just a little calmer. He can get stressed and agitated, but I try to reassure him. It's just hard. It's just so hard. It must be terrible for him. I hate him sometimes. I miss the way it was. I'm sorry.
It's amazing how the acoustics of a church are so unlike the acoustics of a concert hall.
Yes.
It sort of echoes and vibrates. It's very special in that way.
Yes. Listen. See how quiet it is.
I can hear some music in the distance.
Yes. Do you remember the last time you were here? You were conducting the Lassus Requiem.
Was I? Oh.
Yes. You used the whole building. None of these pews were here.
Well, see, quite the concert.
Oh, darling, it was far from a concert. It was as if Lassus himself had just died.
No, please don't.
It was so moving. There were people here who were
No,
crying.
please.
It was broadcast
Not me.
live to
I
5
don't
countries,
want to.
Clive.
No,
It
please.
was broadcasted.
No.
It was absolutely fantastic, darling.
Please, no.
Deborah,
No,
can you repeat that
no,
again?
no,
Say it
I
once
can't
more.
remember, unless
Clive,
I was
it's
unconscious
fine.
at the time, or it wasn't
Remember,
Clive, you need to
Please,
calm down.
I just want to be
Deborah, this
with
is not
Deborah
right.
and go home, that's all
Clive,
I
you
want.
really
Or we can
need
all
to
just
calm
go
down.
home and
Try
pull
for
this whole
once
thing
to
off.
sit.
Oh, please just fucking
Clive.
stop! Please! I can't be awake. Can't you see this? I am not awake. I know that I am alive because I feel things when I'm with you, Deborah. And you tell me that they all tell me that I am alive when I play and when I conduct, but they don't tell me how it feels to live, how it feels to feel. I don't understand it. I can't describe it, but then how can you understand, Deborah? My patience, my love. You are my world. Only when I look at you do I truly know who I am. Only then do I know how it feels to live, and I can hear music. It echoes and vibrates, an orchestra in my soul, resounding the euphony of hope, the crescendo of love. But then it stops. Silence. And I am left with nothing but empty space. No notes, no sound, no feel, no love, just nothing. But the silence of empty memories. But then, there's you, with your crews and cameras, interviews and directing my tragedy! How can your documentary explain no sight, no sound, no touch, no feel, no love? Tell me how to explain this, how to feel. Tell me!
Clive?
And so finally I would like to thank Edmund and Alison and of course Deborah for letting me invade their worlds to tell this very special story about a very special man. And finally, I would like to thank Clive for enduring the cameras and this intrusion into his very unique world. And so, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, sponsors at the BBC, I give you a documentary which is now very close to my heart. The Man with the 7-Second Memory. Thank you.